Immediately doing the front double bicep, what do you see? I see the bicep, of course, but what I see is the obliques. This is 100% natural. And looking at this right now, I've gotten far leaner than this. Remember, I was only 25. Coach Greg, in today's video, I'm going to be going over some lost footage of myself competing when I was only 25 years of age. At this competition, I just happened to win the overall. I won my weight class as well as the overall and, in fact, the best poser. And I can remember this competition as if it was yesterday, and I was weighing 160 pounds. And I'm telling you, I'm 100% natural. You can believe me, you cannot believe me. This is with perhaps 3 years of only using even creatine. This is before GO2 Max, before Turk Builder, before almost everything. And so it's up to you. You can decide whether you're going to believe that I was natural here or that I was enhanced. But remember, I've been training for 15 years. And although this was the best I'd ever been at this point, I did in fact continue to improve. And so before you think you've already hit your natural genetic limit, that you perhaps don't have great genetics, consider that I'd been training since 10. This was 15 years of training, and I continued to train 100% natural after this for years to come. And so don't give up.
Yep, record.
At the time, that is my girlfriend yawning. She's bored. She's thinking, yeah, this physique is mid. She's thinking, look at that boomer. But remember, this is 23 years ago. I was only 25. And so what you really notice on myself, at least what I see that stands out, is my obliques, the side of my abs. Many people are going to say, well, how many sit-ups did you do? What were you training to get those abs? I did nothing. Wasn't training abs. The diet did everything. And I would venture to guess that my abs looked way better back then than they do right now. As you age, your body's going to change. And for myself, my abs, year after year, they began to look worse. But on the contrary, my legs, they began to look a lot better. And so as you watch me flexing right now, notice that my legs on stage in prime condition are not as lean as me right now in my studio. And so as I got older and added on more muscle, I do believe my waist began to get more blocky. Not as slim, not as small, less aesthetic than last time.
Is it too dark?
No, it's good.
And so what I'm doing is I'm practicing between rounds. When on stage and I'm thinking, which of my triceps looks better? Should I do the tricep on the right side or on the left side? How exactly do I flex my abs? Remember, I never had as much experience back then as I do now. And so I'm always learning, always trying to improve. And so the lat spread looks like I have a small waist, and the back double bicep, you can see the spots on my delts, the lines and so on, looking very lean. You can see the prominent Christmas tree on the lower back. All this creates the elusive X frame, the wider shoulders and the smaller waist, exactly what you're looking for in a bodybuilder. And so you can see my tricep development is actually very good. That was from years of doing the bench press. I love the bench press. I did so many reps, and that is literally what had grown my triceps. And so since that time, both of my triceps have gotten significantly worse. I've had biking accidents. You can see the scars on my elbows. Comparing my tricep now to back then, I do believe I had better triceps, 100% natural, than I do right now, despite the fact that I'm 188 right now. This is 160, and so I'm 28 pounds bigger.
Did it matter what tricep I did?
I like the other one better. So much better, actually.
Back then, this is before they invented phones. This is so long ago. There was no Instagram. There was none of that stuff. And so I was lucky to have been able to buy a high camera so that I could record the videos for the future. And so who knew that 20 plus years later, I would be doing a video on myself.
I like the other one better. So much better, actually.
And so that is the voice of Editor Steve, my brother, who's also competing in this competition, who's only 20 years of age, giving me pointers on what side I should pose to the audience. I'm saying my obliques look better on this side, but my tricep looks better on this side. And so I'm debating which side to pose to the judges.
I always did that because my obliques weren't as good.
Yeah, it doesn't matter though.
And so you can see, doing the most muscular, you can see the striations in the chest, very, very lean. This is 100% natural. And looking at this right now, I've gotten far leaner than this. Remember, I was only 25. Further in my competitive career, I dieted harder than last time. I was getting better and better recipes, and it was becoming easier to diet. And contrary to perhaps what Larry Wheels, coach, says and so on, I sometimes did over 2 hours of cardio a day. Remember, it was zone 2. I was a former triathlete, and so I could burn up a lot of calories. And so if I was behind in my prep, all I had to do is add more cardio. Hey, I don't look like I'm going to be in shape. I had no coaches. I coached myself. And so I'd look in the mirror and say, am I going to be the leanest guy on stage? If not, I need to do more cardio. And so for a week straight, I'd perhaps do 2.5 hours of cardio a day. And by the end of the week, it was night and day. It looked like I had dieted for a month. And that is the benefit of doing zone 2 cardio, in particular, when you're in shape and doing cardio year round. The more in shape you are, the more calories you can burn. And so you can leverage the cardio to get you lean.
It's cool. The legs a bit.
Notice just how, quote, soft my legs look in terms of being a bodybuilding competitor. Now, when analyzing my own physique, I see that I had great shape. All the muscles' bellies look great. However, there is a lack of conditioning, in particular in the legs. Upper body, it's great, no problem. But the legs, they definitely could be a lot leaner. And so the front double biceps had great biceps back then. I remember when I was a little kid, for example, 7, 8 years old, kids in my class would say, hey, flex your arm. I always had great biceps, and so not surprised to see that even as a natural, my biceps definitely stood out.
It all absorbed in the right spots, obviously. We know what to do.
So essentially, I'm saying I drank some water. You get dehydrated for competitions, and sometimes I would just continue to not drink. But what happens then is you flatten out. And so if you deprive yourself of too much fluid, you get too dehydrated and your muscles actually look smaller. And so by adding in some water after the morning routine, by that I mean in the morning you do a complete routine, you get compared to other people, and then you go and do the same thing at night. By adding in water, it allows you to keep that muscle fullness on stage. Here's the finished package on stage, about to receive the Best Poser Award. And so I essentially did an in-sync routine, very popular back in the day. I still like in-sync to this day. And I won the overall Best Poser with that 8 different times in different competitions. And so once I'd mastered that routine, I practiced that routine for 24 hours. I would time it. I'm going to do it an hour each day. 24 hours to learn how to pose. And once I did that, it became easy. You learn to hear the downbeat and you can hit a pose on each beat, and it does sound and look a lot better. And so let me remind you, this is 160 pounds. The weight limit for classic physique for my height is 193 pounds. And so this is literally 33 pounds under the weight cap for classic physique. And so picture this physique, add in 33 more pounds of muscle, and take out all the excess body fat, and that is the weight limit for classic physique. And when I won my pro card, when I was not Natty, guess what I weighed? 193. Quite literally, I probably had over 40 pounds more muscle than I did right here. And so big difference between being natty and being enhanced. But I would argue that adding all that extra muscle, the 30, 40 pounds, doesn't make you look more attractive. And in fact, to most people, probably make you look less attractive. And so is there really that much point in getting massive, risking your health to look massive just to impress essentially just the guys at the bar? I don't think so. If you train 100% natural and do your best for your entire life, you should be proud of the results that you achieve.
The best poser male is number 29, Greg Doucette. Please strike your best poses for the photographer, please.
And so notice, strike your best pose, and what do? I just stand there and twist it aside. The reason being my abs were predominantly my best body part. When people watch me compete on stage, they would say, man, you had such great abs. And so they remember that. And so I said, why not highlight this? And so rather than, for example, doing a vacuum pose like Chris Bumstead, I always flexed my abs. The first several years of bodybuilding, I would suck in my stomach and do the front double bicep. But after blowing out all of my air, pretending I'm doing a thigh and abdominal pose, everything looked better. The centerpiece of any physique photo is your abs. And when I did photo shoots back in the day, the only thing that got sore was my abs. Every single photo was tight midsection, blow out all of your air. And so essentially, you're just practicing posing your abs all the time. And so when I train clients, I never had them do abdominal exercises. I said, you don't need to do it. But what I want you to do is to pose. You're going to be on stage, you're going to have to hit those poses. And so why not practice that as a way of strengthening your abdominals? It's an isometric contraction. And if you get used to flexing your abs hard, holding it for perhaps 30 seconds, you are going to get better control of your abs and look significantly better on stage. And so I specifically specifically remember this competition, weighing in above 165 pounds, 165 and a half. I wanted to go middleweight. I thought it would be cool to jump up a weight class. And so what I did was I drank a ton of water. I weighed in heavy, 165 and a half pounds, and by the next morning, I was 160. After that, from sweating, posing, and so on, you're down a couple pounds, 158. And so I then re-drank approximately a liter, get back to 160 pounds, and then competed in the night show. This is for the overall. And so what happens is the various winners from each category go up on stage and do battle together. And so you can see the back has some detailed definition. However, glutes rather soft, some hamstrings, but definitely could be a little bit tighter. Notice, just standing relaxed, what stands out? Do you see my abdominals in comparison to my competitors? Do you see how much more prominent it is? And so when I'm standing up on stage, I'm flexing the entire time. They call it the relax pose. It's anything but relaxed. You're flexing everything from the calves, the quads, the abs, everything. Immediately doing the front double bicep, what do you see? I see the bicep, of course, but what I see is the obliques. They appear to be etched in stone. You can see all of the detail. You can see that, the serratus anterior, very, very detailed and crispy definition, and that supplies or adds to a very aesthetic physique. When you're lean, in particular on the side of the abdominals, it really does stand out. It really will make a difference. Even to this day, looking back at this, remember, I haven't seen this for over 20 years. I'm amazed. I'm impressed. I'm thinking, this guy's natural? If I were doing a natty or not on this guy, I'd be thinking, probably not natural. 99.99% of guys not going to get a physique like this while training natural. But if you have very good genetics and you train for 15 years, clearly you can do it. And remember, it's 160 pounds. It's not 200. I'm not all that big, but I give the illusion of having more size. Based on this, I'm thinking my glutes were bigger back then than they are now, but it does in fact make sense. I was doing a lot of squats. I was heavy into training, and right now I'm doing mostly bike racing. And so I don't do a lot of glute exercises. Perhaps I gotta get back to squatting harder than last time. There it is, the right tricep, clearly my better tricep, although my obliques don't look quite as good. Everyone has some asymmetry of the body. Your left to the right, it's not going to be exactly the same. And so you might, for example, notice when females take photos, perhaps they always turn to this side versus that side. They say, this is my better side. Same applies to bodybuilding. One arm, one leg, oftentimes better than the other.
To enjoy the next part, which is your 60-second pose down. Please, may we have some music for the pose down?
Pose down time, always my favorite part of the show. You get off the stage, you hit your best poses, the judging is over, it's just for the fans, and so let's get at it.
And now, the Senior Men's Overall, the Nova Scotia Open Bodybuilding and Fitness Championship 2001 at the Festival Theatre in Wolfville, Nova Scotia. I would like to ask Mark Moring down again, please, from ProLab. Way to go. We have number 29, Greg Doucette.
And so there you have it, proof that you can in fact win an overall title while being 100% natural, even at 160 pounds. Now, if you're looking to stay natural and you want the best advantages that you can get, I would highly suggest you get GO2 Max and Turk Builder for the increased energy, the ability to do more cardio, to train harder than last time, and to put on more muscle. Interested in this? Head to my website, code Greg, 15% off. Click the link in the description. And so the post-show flex, remember, after a show, you're going to regain all this weight. You're going to drink more water, eat some more carbs, and you're going to then fill out. And so I'm tanned and oiled up before GTA 3 in this video. Great job on the fullness of the biceps, the size combined with the smaller waist and tight midsection. This is an aesthetic physique. Hope you enjoyed this video recapping old memories from over 20 years ago. Remember, stay Stay natural as long as possible, and if you do anything, please use the lowest doses that'll make you happy. Never break the law. Always do so with the advice and consent from your own doctor. Subscribe, click the bell button, comment to boost the algorithm. Please like this video if you in fact liked it. And of course, the cookbook, the Circle Diet book, to learn all of my greatest recipes. Click the link in the description, as well as the training books and the Harder Than Last Time clothing line. Get it all on the website. Code Greg, 15% off. And until next time, I am out.